clinical trial participant, TJ Sharpe, as he shares his story of overcoming hurdles to find a trial and his efforts now to bring the urgency of the patient voice to the pharmaceutical development and the clinical trial world. TJ Sharpe, he's a stage 4 melanoma patient who shares his journey through the stage 4 cancer. He was diagnosed in August 2012 with melanoma tumors in multiple organs, 4 weeks after his son was born. He's a writer, he's a speaker, and a consultant to the biopharmaceutical clinical research industries, bringing an educated patient voice and a true partner to healthcare and drug development. It's my delight and pleasure to invite TJ Sharpe to the stage.
In some regions of Argentina, you can have snow in summer, snowing.
Thank you, everyone.
1 month ago,
And thanks for sticking
some
around.
places,
I know this is
we have snow
a big
in
day
summer.
if you are a fan of certain football teams. Anyone needs a place to watch the game afterwards, there's a few Patriots fans sitting right here. So, this is me, this is my disclosures, which I don't have any. Oh, it's right over there. There was one. But my story is going, and I'll give you about 35 minutes of the story of what it's like to be a participant, a patient, a person, undergoing clinical research. And at the end, we're going to try to tie it with everything that's happened here at this conference and what SCRS's mission is. Disclaimer that I don't have any HIPAA rights anymore, so feel free to share my story or tweet it out, tag me, whatever you want, and at the Q&A afterwards, ask any questions that you want to know anything about. So here's where my story begins. Make sure I get this right. When I was 25, I was living outside of New York City, and I had a mole up here on my chest. Went to the dermatologist mostly because my mother was bugging me to get that thing removed, and I kept blowing her off. Finally, I went to the doctor, he took it off, said you should be fine, and I went about my way. Then he called me 2 days later and said, hey, remember that spot we took off of your clavicle? Yeah, you need to go to NYU Medical Center, and we don't believe everything you read on the internet about melanoma. So when I got home and Googled melanoma, I realized I'd just become a young adult cancer patient. So we had surgery, removed the tumor right here, stage 1B, not a big deal, let's just go on with life. And so I did what any melanoma patient would do. I wore long sleeve shirts, hats, sunscreen, and then I moved to Florida, which is where I met Jen. We met in 2004, got married, had little Josie. She likes that picture. And in 2012, Tommy was born. And now we have a complete family. There's 4 of us. Everyone is happy. Everyone seems to be healthy. 4 weeks after this picture was taken, I went back to the same hospital with what I thought was a spiky fever. Went to the ER doctor. I said, I don't feel so well. Something's wrong. I brought my laptop just in case I had to stay for a long time. I could get some work done. Well, he took a look at my chest x-ray. He said, hey, with your history of melanoma and these spots on your lungs, I think you have a recurrence of your cancer. I said, wait a minute, Doc. I'm just tired. I have a 4-week-old at home. I don't think I have cancer. This has got to be, you must have switched charts or something with the patient next to me. And unfortunately, like doctors are, he was right. He admitted me to Broward General. And I left there 16 days later with an 8-centimeter tumor removed from my small bowel and 4 other tumors spread across my lungs, my liver, and my spleen. So that's where my story begins. When I was diagnosed that first time, stage 1 melanoma has a 90-some% success rate. As long as you are careful about it, diligent about following up with your doctor, keeping yourself protected. However, melanoma is difficult. It comes back. And when it comes back really bad. So when I was in the hospital for 16 days and I had continued to Google melanoma, I realized that a stage 4 melanoma patient had a median lifespan of about 18 months, and that 9 every 10 people with my diagnosis would be dead in less than 5 years. I had a 2-year-old daughter and a 4-week-old son. So when I left that hospital, I had more than just a diagnosis. I set goals for myself. As a disclaimer, I was an IT project manager for a very long time. So my mindset was, we are going to figure out the best way to get me a chance of a durable response. I want to see these little kids grow up. I want to get myself healthy again. I want to do things like be an usher in my cousin's wedding, take my kids to Disney World. And as I was setting these goals, I realized that there was a greater purpose. I remember waking up and during that 16-day stay and seeing my dad there and saying, when I'm done with this, I want to make a difference in someone's life. My purpose wasn't just to be an IT project manager anymore. It wasn't to be a cancer survivor. It was to be a dad. It was to be a husband, to be a brother and an uncle to my niece and nephew, to be a son, a part of my community, and someone who will make a difference in someone else's lives. But to do all of that, there's a number of hurdles we had to overcome. The first one being, there was a good chance there wasn't a treatment out there that was going to help me. When I left the hospital, we went to the oncologist that treated me for my initial surgery. He was a general oncologist at a general hospital, and he should have known enough about clinical research, but actually never offered me a chance at a clinical trial. He basically said, here's your tumor mutation type. You don't have the BRAF mutation, so you're not eligible for these trials, these new treatments that have been offered for melanoma patients. So basically, here's your chemotherapy. Good luck. Now, having spent those 16 days Googling melanoma, I know how bad my odds were doing that. My wife, who just spent the last 16 days with a husband in the cancer center, with a 2-year-old and a 4-week-old, and her in-laws down from New Jersey, she didn't know how bad it was. So she asked the doctor, what are we looking at here, doc? How much time do we have? And he very bluntly answered her with, I'll be surprised if your husband is here in 2 years. Talk about setting goals. That was the first goal that I set. And every year since then, he gets a Christmas card saying, hey, guess what? I'm still here. We left the hospital. It was a rough day. You hear that, and you know, all right, there's got to be something else, right? There's got to be hope somewhere. So I went on 4 different second opinions before I was able to find someone who would give me the chance at a different therapy, at these immunotherapies that I had read all about on the internet during those 16 days. And realized, hey, melanoma is actually at the forefront of this changing of the tides in oncology care. There's this thing called immunotherapy that's sort of been tucked back for so long. And now it's seeing some promise. And melanoma is at the very front of that. Well, I want a chance at that. That's going to give me a chance at that durable response. And so when I finally found a doctor who would give me that immunotherapy, give me a chance at that immunotherapy at Moffitt Cancer Center in Tampa, he offered me 2 options. He said, well, there's a couple anti-PD-1 drugs that show a lot of promise. Or there's another treatment that we're doing here. It's a number of immunotherapies, one of which is called TIL, tumor-infiltrating lymphocytes, which I would think a lot of you have some familiarity with. It's CAR T-cell therapies that have recently been approved are a version of that. And it involved taking one of my tumors out and getting the T-cells that best responded to my cancer and then blowing them up to 60 billion and re-infusing them. Real like Star Trek type medicine. So I said, this sounds fantastic. This is real cutting edge stuff here. I think we should give it a shot. I said, well, I'm just curious, how have people done this before? And he looked at me and goes, well, as far as we know, you're going to be the first person to try this in this sequence. I said, oh. So you're telling me that no one has ever failed this before? I think we should give this a shot. I don't know how many patients would hear that and run out the door. I don't know how many patients would do 4 different second opinions before they found a treatment that they thought was the right one for them. I do know that clinical trials aren't successful when patients don't have access to them, don't know about them, and that the patient can't make their decision, their best decision, when they don't know all of their options. I was fortunate. I had friends and family that helped me do research to get over this barrier. But too many other patients that I knew didn't have that opportunity. So, we take our family and we go from Fort Lauderdale all the way over to the Tampa area, and we're going to try this amazing new treatment. Sign me up, Doc. I am ready. Let's get this done. I sign my informed consent. We move our family over, and we're waiting in October of 2012. And the oncologist said, well, we have one small problem. The medicine's here. The team is ready to go. We are excited about this. And our lawyers are just finishing the contract. Just dotting I's and crossing T's. Shouldn't be a big deal. So it wasn't for a weekend, a week, 2 weeks, 4 weeks. Now I'm a month in. So I'm waiting for this trial to start, and I call my oncologist. What's going on, Doc? Why are we waiting so long? I said, that contract, well, we have a couple different sponsors. There's an IRB, there's a private foundation. So we have 5 different lawyers trying to approve something every time it gets redlined. If you had to work with one lawyer, you know how hard that is, much less 5 different ones. He said, I think you should move on to Plan B. Okay, wait, hold on. A month ago, you told me the best chance I had watching this little boy go to college, walking this little girl down the aisle, was this trial. And now, because a piece of paper isn't signed, that I'm going to lose that best chance. I'm going to lose my best chance at the goal of a durable response. So I'm sorry, I don't have anything I can do about it. Okay. We left there, and the first thing I did was get on LinkedIn, and I'm like, I gotta know somebody that works for one of these sponsor companies. So I found a few friends from college. I said, hey, do you know your friend that works over there on this new drug? Can you get them down to the legal department and see if we can maybe move this along a little bit? I'm 3 months into a 24-month sentence here, and I can't wait any longer. But that wasn't quite enough for me, being the New Jersey Italian guy that I am. So I decided I was going to call one of the sponsor companies. Dialed the 1-800 number somewhere in the pharma corridor of New York and New Jersey. And I said, hi, I'm a cancer patient, and I have a concern about one of your clinical trial drugs. And this is the best way to get to the legal department of any pharmaceutical company in the world. And I spoke to a young lady there, and she was really nice, and really empathetic, and really unhelpful. She said, I'm sorry, the document's not processed. I told her, to you this is a document. To me, it's my life. And I'm not going to sit around and wait for a signature or a to-do on somebody's task list in their inbox to get done and give up my chance of watching these kids grow up. And then I gave her a few more colorful words about what I thought about document management processing. If you ever seen Office Space. A couple days later, my oncologist called me and said, I don't know what you did, But we just got a call from the sponsor. Start the trial on Monday, give the man his medicine. Now it's kind of a funny little slide right there. If you've seen the movie, you know why. But it's not funny if you think about what it's really like to be a patient. And you're looking for the chance of a healthier life, a longer life, a better life, a chance to maybe survive a terminal diagnosis. The average contract takes about 13 weeks to execute in the clinical trial world. In that time, 150,000 cancer patients die. More die of heart disease, and if you take the top 6 disease killers, just in the US, there's 400,000 people that die in the time it takes to sign a piece of paper. You can't save all of them, you probably can't save almost all of them. But there's a patient, a person, a family that's waiting for a chance to get that medicine that will give them a longer, better, healthier life. So if you don't remember anything else from this hour, remember that. Next time something comes across your desk that needs your approval, your signature, your chance to make a clinical trial or a treatment accelerate. So now we start this amazing trial. Our family has moved over. There we are. We are over in the Gulf Coast area. I am ready to do lymphodepletion and knock out all my white blood cells. And here's me getting the first dose of one of the immunotherapies. I am ready to go. And a slight blip happens. As they're lymphodepleting me, they realize that there's diverticulitis. And if we knock all your white blood cells out, all that bacteria that's sitting in your system, guess what? It's probably going to kill you. So I ended up with a colostomy bag for 2.5 years because my options were stay on the trial and get a colostomy or give up the best chance of watching those kids grow up. I was like, well, it can't be that bad, can it? It didn't matter. My goal, my purpose was to be a dad. My goal was to get that global response. And I was going to do whatever it took to make that happen. So I go through all these treatments. High-dose interleukin-2 after the TIL, a really difficult, stressful thing on your body. And get through all of that, and it didn't work. This is me in February of 2013. I just failed a trial. I've lost about 50 pounds, and I can't make it through my daughter's 3rd birthday without throwing up and passing out. But there was another option. We have a clinical trial for anti-PD-1 drugs. Doc, tell me about that. The researchers, a world-famous melanoma researcher, a guy by the name of Jeff Weber, said, well, hopefully when you're done, we can get you on one of the anti-PD-1 trials. I said, all that sounds great except for the hopefully part. Is there something I missed out? An exclusion criteria? Like at this point, I was kind of understood what this stuff was now. Is there something I missed? He said, no, you're fine. You can be on the trial, except we just don't have the contract signed yet.
Oh my God.
Oh. Fortunately, one of the melanoma advocacy organizations, the Melanoma International Foundation, is run by a woman who is a long-time melanoma survivor. Catherine called me that week and said, how you doing? And I sent her this picture. So this is how I'm doing. Lost 50 pounds, I can't get through a birthday party, and now I'm about to play contract roulette for the 2nd time in 4 months with Big Pharma. Sounds great, doesn't it? She said, let me get back to you. Called me back 4 hours later instead of 4 weeks. Said, there is another anti-PD-1 drug on a trial similar to the one that you're being offered, and it's like 5 miles from your house in Fort Lauderdale. Would you be interested? I said, well, do they have a signed contract? And she said, yeah. I said, yes, then I will be interested. So we take our family and we move back over to Fort Lauderdale. And This is me. My first dose of a drug known then as MK3475. Now, you may have heard of Keytruda. Second ever trial for the drug. Probably one of the first several hundred patients to get it. 4 years later, I took my 75th and final dose, knock on wood, of Keytruda. And the reason we stopped the medication is that summer, we had a scan report that said malignant disease is not suspected on the basis of this examination. For the first time in almost 5 years, someone told me I didn't have cancer. But that's not where the story ends. What can I do? What can you do? I had all these goals, and I started checking them off. I actually wrote them, I had them on my iPhone in the hospital that first time. I started putting things down that I wanted to do. And this wasn't some kind of bucket list. This was, I even put a goal of coaching 4-year-old soccer, which if you ever set goals for your life, don't put this one on there. and I never thought I'd have a goal to coach a bunch of little kids running around like crazy, until someone one day told me I wasn't going to be here to do that. So now, my favorite day is Thursday. I go from one kid's practice to another. I had a goal to get healthy. I wanted to be myself. I set a goal when I was a teenager to do a triathlon, and I'm not really in triathlon shape right now, but I did this 3 years ago, and the best part about finishing the triathlon wasn't that I got a medal, or even I could say that I did a triathlon. I'm a triathlete now. The best part is the guy in the white shirt right there. That's my ER doctor who admitted me. He's become a friend and a fellow soccer coach, someone that I occasionally train with. It was a goal. He set that goal with me. He said when I was getting better, he goes, "We're going to do a triathlon together." I said, "Sure, why not?" I was like, "That sounds like a great idea." I want to be an usher at my cousin's wedding. And she said, "There's no way I'm letting you come up for this." And I said, "As long as my doctor said it's okay, I'm doing this. I'm not going to let cancer ruin whatever time that I have." I took my kids to Disney World. And all that is part of being a dad. Check those boxes off too. Being a husband, a part of my family, a part of my community. My daughter does dance, so I'm the one on Tuesdays and Thursdays that drives her at 3 o'clock to ballet. And I can tell you that was not on my goals list either. To take the family to do things like whitewater rafting, or snow tubing in the polar vortex. I found other purposes in my life. I decided I was going to be a football coach, something I had wanted to do since I graduated college. Tommy gets to go to football practice with me every Tuesday, all during the fall. I climbed the mountain, at the end, Mount Katahdin in Maine. And I did all these things, the triathlon, and the Tough Mudder with friends from college, and all these other maybe crazy things, because at some point I realized that not only did I need to know that I could still do it, but there were other patients out there, people that were hearing, "You have cancer," or "I don't know how immunotherapy is going to affect your body." People that were in my shoes in that hospital bed, they were looking for some hope. So that's why I do this too. This is what I do now. I still write about this. My journey, the cancer part hopefully has kind of stopped, but it's the story of a patient and how it affects lives. I speak about it. Sorry, Casey, if you need me to come speak to your company, I'm glad to do that as well. But I tell a story not because it's just a story, it's one person's story. There's so many stories out there that I could tell. I'm fortunate enough that I get to work in the industry as a patient advocate, as a patient advisor to a number of the pharma companies, a few sponsors here. I do work with Some technology companies are using my IT background a little bit. Al's Blue Cloud is one of our presenters, and a number of other companies where I get to bring a patient voice there and kind of keep them pointed at that true north. Because what you do, what this industry does, it's all about human health. It's about the people and the families and the patients that we're all going to be one day. I have another purpose. The purpose I added along this journey was to be a voice for those that didn't have one. Too many melanoma patients that I knew didn't get the response that I did. Couldn't find the right treatment for them. Too many advocates that I interacted with left this world with their mission incomplete. This is no longer an talk to give you some rah-rah stuff about what you do makes a difference in all of our lives, and I speak for all of these people. But not today. Today I'm going to end a little differently. It's a story that's affected my life and everything that we do. No, that wasn't supposed to happen like that. That's okay. Christine Pierre is a driving force as the founder of SCRS. She was an inspiration, a motivator, someone you can rely on, someone who, she was a mentor, a leader, and a friend. When she heard my story for the first time, she took it upon herself to make a crusade out of not letting this happen to somebody else. We will not let someone else sit there while a contract isn't signed. And she turned it into an SCRS initiative known as CLEAR. And if you don't know what CLEAR is, you can ask any one of the cowboys in the blue shirts. They will tell you plenty about her initiative to cut down the 5 most contentious clauses in the clinical trial contracting process. Say that 5 times fast. She wasn't about to let other patients who have a serious or terminal diagnosis flounder the same way I did and not have the ability to navigate to a clinical trial that might be right for them, a treatment that they might be able to get that could save their lives. The story I'm ending with, though, isn't mine. It's hers. 2 years ago, Christine called me and told me about her ocular melanoma diagnosis. And through tears, she blurted out, "Am I going to die of this?" As a patient, she lived the things she was so passionately advocating for. Now, passionate may not be a strong enough word there. Access to clinical trials. The prioritization of the participants over processes and policies, paperwork. The compassion of a nurse mixed with the dedication of a leader and the perspective of a patient. On October 23rd this past year, a lot of us added another purpose. There's no greater way to honor her memory and the contributions she has made to clinical research and all those patients that have been helped by it than by channeling her voice and saying, "Do we need better access to clinical research? Duh." Christine, I cherish your friendship, your leadership, and your guidance. And I hope I've done your memory some sort of justice by closing out the first SCRS Oncology Site Solution Summit by saying thank you, inspiring our colleagues and friends to make this world a better place.